Good evening, everyone. Lancey Peterson here. It is Thursday, April the 12th, 2018. It is now 10:19 p.m. and I am currently near the Beverly Center. I am not online right now. I am sitting here watching, what am I watching? I'm watching Star on Hulu. I like the show. I like Queen Latifah. She's cool. And I like the drama. Hey, I like TV. What can you say? Well, listen. I want to read something to you that I read the Dr. Maya Angelou spoke on. And she says, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Now, keep that quote in mind. And then think about this. This is from Tony Robbins in his book, Awaken the Giant Within, on page 55. He says that everything that we do is in response to either the pursuit of pleasure or the avoidance of pain. Okay, keep that in mind. The pursuit of pleasure or the avoidance of pain. So I started thinking, well, what is the greatest pleasure? The greatest pleasure is acceptance, because that leads to love. Remember, the Bible says the greatest of these is love. And so then, well, if acceptance is the greatest pleasure, what is the greatest pain? Well, the greatest pain is rejection. Now, I'm sure a lot of people probably won't agree with me on that. I'm thinking, well, why is, acceptance and rejection so strong? Well, look at all the strife that's going on just in the world in general right now. It all boils down to acceptance and rejection, pleasure and pain. That's what drives all of us as human beings. And so for the last couple of days, I have been reading a multitude of comments about how the drivers feel about the presentation that was given by the CEO of Uber, and how people felt so angry, so sad, so disappointed, so bitter, so negative about the presentation that was given. And then there was a very profound thing that I discovered. I went to hear Drive Girl Drive, Cicely. She gave her feedback on the presentation, and she showed us that the comments for the video were disabled. I'm like, wow, that is the most incredible thing I have seen. And when I saw that, I realized this is the core reason why why we all feel the way we do. We feel completely ignored. We feel completely rejected. And we feel completely abandoned by the company. We feel abandoned by Uber. You have drivers that have poured their heart and soul into this. They do the best jobs they can. They're working 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day. They're consuming energy drinks. I remember when they had the Gold Star system in LA, and if you were a Gold Star driver, Uber actually gave you a case of Red Bull. That's how they felt about us. Hey, take more Red Bull so you can keep driving hard. And we'll keep paying you 72 cents a mile. I tell you, this is the ultimate expression of rejection, because the company simply doesn't want to hear us. It is quite apparent they already knew when they posted the video on YouTube that they were going to receive an onslaught of negative comments from drivers around the world on how they weren't being listened to. And so they decided to disable the content, the comments. That is amazing. It really is. I've been sad all day because of it. Because I've been watching, one of the important things that I've noticed about every person that talks about rideshare on YouTube is that when the drivers need to comment, they'll reach out to those of us that take the time to create these videos, because we listen to the drivers, because Uber isn't doing it. And it was made very plain to me when I went to the comment section and I saw that the comments were disabled. That little thing, it said so much more than anything the company has ever said in the entire time they've been in existence. It shows us just how much they really value us. The company says they listen to us, but they won't even allow the drivers to voice their opinion. I have people on my channel that call me everything in the world. I've been called Uncle Tom. I've been called a sellout. I've been called a bitch. I've been called a nigga. I've been called all of it. And it's okay, because I've been called those things multiple times as a bus operator. So it really doesn't bother me. But here's what I don't do. I don't turn off the comments to people that want to voice those opinions to me. If that's how you feel about me, that's how you feel about me. If I can't give you any more than the satisfaction of letting you know that I hear you when you call me an Uncle Tom, then hey, you know what? I have done my job. What the company has done is, I wish I could use a word stronger than wrong, and fill it in. You can do it for yourselves. But at the end of the day, it just really speaks to the character of this company. It is utterly amazing. So many drivers are sending me comments expressing the pain that they are in because the company refuses to raise the rates. But it's really more than that. It's not about the rates. It's about the refusal of the company to truly listen to the drivers. And they have demonstrated that by blocking the comments on the video. So I'm thinking, how can I describe what I believe is going to happen to Uber? Imagine Uber is a 747, and they bought this airplane from another airline. And so what Uber did was they repainted it. It looks new, but it's really an old plane, but it looks new. And at the front, we have our pilot, and inside we have all of the executives and employees and the people that get the perks, okay? And the plane is flying through the sky, but it's running out of fuel. But the problem is the fuel that they need to continue flying is contaminated. They've contaminated all the fuel in the country. Uber right now is flying on contaminated fuel. They messed it up. We drivers, we are the fuel. We are the ones that keep this thing going. Uber would not have been able to produce the app in the first place if it wasn't for the work that the drivers around the world have done on behalf of the company. They can use the contract all they want, and they can say, oh, well, you know, you're assigning us to be your payment processor, and this is a contractual agreement, and this is this and this is that. What Uber is doing speaks to the core of what Dr. Maya Angelou said. People will forget what you said, and people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. We have a group of people who's flying around in an old rickety 747. It looks new, but it's about to crash. And we have a pilot at the helm that seems to be completely tone deaf to us. So, I took up 11 minutes of your time to say this. You have a choice to make at this point. I have a choice to make at this point. Every single person who is watching this video, whether you are a rider, a driver, a shareholder, an employee, or an executive of Uber, you have a choice. Do you want to get on board this plane knowing it's going to crash because the fuel is contaminated? Or do you want to take your chances and see what happens? I have obligations with this vehicle. I have to stay on board for a little while. But this thing is not working for a lot of people. It really isn't. And the reason why it isn't working is simply because the company is not listening to us. I know Uber has lost a lot of drivers. You know, one of the things I believe is that if you lose trust, you lose everything. And I believe Uber has lost even more than that. It's going to be very interesting, but I tell you, that presentation, that's a major turning point for the company. And I don't think it's going to go the way they think it's going to go. I don't think it's going to go the way they want it to go. All right, that's what I needed to say about how I feel regarding the presentation. You know, I understand some people don't like what I said regarding the app. Well, if you looked at the video and if you looked at the title, I spoke specifically about the app itself. I didn't say anything about the pay because, excuse me, when it came to the pay, I made a choice to fix my pay situation. I bought a more expensive car that qualified me for more income opportunities, that paid me more money per passenger mile. UberX did not work for me. I'd worked 14, 15, 16 hours a day as an UberX driver. I put 55,000 miles on my car in 5 months, and I did not make enough money. I had to do something. And so, rather than go back to a job that clearly hated me, I decided to stick it out with Uber with the more expensive car. And I found the solution that worked for me. But the problem is, we have a lot of drivers that are unable to do that, or their market doesn't support higher profile, higher paying clients like the Southern California area does. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I apologize, this video is 15 minutes long, but it was something that I needed to say from the heart. And I hope this message helps some folk. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful evening.